Cards from Japan. He says, don't worry, he'll be back in time for your exam. So don't worry. I'm Professor Rivera. I teach the other org behavior, 440. I teach 440 on Fridays. So I'm subbing for Dr. Kofax today. Today you have a guest speaker. It's my privilege and pleasure to have him speak for you guys today. He was a classmate of mine and a colleague of mine back in the master's degree. We were part of the first professional master's degree program here at the University of Guam. So he's a innovator in of himself, and I think you enjoyed his presentation. Somebody who still uses paper, can you just pass one around and let's take a roster, make sure that everybody is signed in and get credit for this. While that's going around, I'd like to introduce Carlos Camacho. I don't want to steal his thunder, so there you go. Carlos Camacho.
I wrote a speech here, but I'm not going to use it today. Anyways, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me here to talk about, I guess, my experiences through the university from the way beginnings when I started many, many years ago to today, where I'm at today, utilizing the education I've used with the degree I got with the University of Guam. But before I do that, my name is Carlos Camacho. I'm the Vice President of Ironwood. Have you ever heard of Ironwood? I'm one of the owners of Ironwood, and I'm also the Executive Director for Micronesia Self-Help Housing Corporation, a nonprofit organization that builds housing for targeted families in the community. But I wanted to when John asked me to speak, I wanted just to probably share a little of my past and how because I'm a late starter in the university, and I didn't complete my education till 2004 for my bachelor's and 2005 for my master's. But prior to that, I was right after high school. 10 years before that, that's how much that was a large gap. I was going to the college in San Diego to do my undergraduate degree, and then at that time to choose a program, let it be marketing, let it be finance, economics, or any of those professions that what I think I'll be excited about. But at the early age of my educational life, I didn't really know what I wanted to be, other than I had an entrepreneurial drive, which I understand the university now is offering entrepreneurial classes. But in those days, I was very excited to see what I can do in opening up certain type of business to bring back to Guam. So while I was going to college back in California, in those days, one of the things that, as you know, when you started at your early years and freshman years, I'm assuming it's probably still the same today. In my time, my parents was helping me pay for my school, other than applying for a student loan or trying to get a scholarship. But in those days, my parents were helping me out, and we were using the old system of sending money to the post office those days. So I was so entrepreneurial driven. I only had 1 year of college back when I was going to school back there. I wanted to figure out how I can solve one of that dilemma to get money there real quick. So in 1987, I've been watching all the programs and commercials in the United States. I heard of a company. Anybody heard of Western Union? Well, I brought Western Union to Guam in 1987. I'm the founder for Western Union for the Western Pacific region, and I brought that out here because of my entrepreneurial drive. I decided not to finish college when I was in California. I thought there was a huge financial opportunity to go into the world of business at a young age. And believe me, why I'm telling you the story is because I wish when I went into that, I would have got the mechanics and the academic background to understand the whole world of marketing, finance, and human resources in a sense in regards to hiring the right staff and people to run your company. I could say that today because many years later, I've learned from the street of hard knocks the hard way. And then later, as I got my degree, it reinforces the things that give me my present situation, what I'm doing today.
How old were you when you did that?
I was 18 years old. first brought in the company to Guam. So I did not finish school, and that doesn't say not to finish school, because I completed my degree here and I got my master's here. And that's the reason why I want to emphasize that, because I'm just telling you the story first. When I stopped, because I was so entrepreneurial driven to bring something here, because of my other fellow classmates from Guam that was going to college back there, they all have the same problem. The funding, when is it going to come in, how fast can we get it, either to pay for your books or your school, or even pay for your living expenses while we were out there. So I brought that to Guam, not knowing the dynamics of structuring a business. Like today, what you guys have here with the university partnership with the Small Business Development Center, at least now you have a tool, or through an advisory council to the counselors, on how to set up your companies, if that's the role you want to take, and the challenges and the financial challenges that you potentially would face or would undertake during your new company. So I set that up here in Guam, and as I set that up, I've learned through the learning curve. That's in the 80s, and I finally sold that company in 2000. I owned that company for close to 14, 15 years. And today now you see Western all over Guam, like in every other corner street or every other travel agency has it. So as I progressed in life, in 2000 and the market went soft, and Guam's economy went soft in early 2000, that's when I decided to go back to school. Many years later to go back to school. So I went back to get my undergraduate degree in finance. Why did I choose finance? Because as I grew in the business world, I needed to understand the financing mechanism of operating a business, the financial statement, the cash flow statements, and to understand all these things, because that's the two most important documents that you're going to need when you provide a pro forma, when you're trying to borrow a bank to expand your business, or trying to borrow when you're trying to open a new business. Like I said, I learned it the hard way. I understood those things, but I didn't understand it too much because I didn't have the educational background other than just going out straight out, opening the company. So I went back to the University of Guam in early 2000. I finally got my bachelor's in finance and economics here at the university. And from there, I was too driven to further education. Like John mentioned, one of his first cohorts were classmates in the PMBA. And I think it was offered in starting in 2004, 2005. Right after my undergraduate degree, I went straight to the PMBA. The reason I decided to choose the PMBA versus your traditional master's program is the PMBA is supposed to collectively garner the professionals within the industry or to the community that's been out there in a long time, that didn't have time to come back to the typical schedules of your class schedules, but have a very stringent weekend. Was it weekend we have? Was it weekend and a very tight schedule for one whole year. But I took that challenge because there was about, our first cohort was 12 people. We had a mix of a politician in there, a senator who understood the local policies, who wanted to better his education. We had bankers there that graduated from either University of Guam. One of them graduated from Marquette. And we have different individuals who graduated from the university and other universities that wanted to increase their educational level. But at the same time, they were seasoned in their profession. So why I say that is because when I took that route, remember I told you I had a 10 years lapse before I went back to school. So I kind of had the hard knocks of the true business process the hard way. So now that we're infusing it through back to school, I went through the 4-year, exactly what you guys are doing, going through the basics, academics of courses, learning marketing, finance, probably human resources, creating what did I say earlier today? Creating your employee handbook. That's a very key part. And understanding, see, when you're doing this at this early age, you don't know why are we creating this handbook? Why are we going through personality profile? Why are we doing this for all the different? Why are we learning the marketing, the leapfrog advantage? All these things I didn't know. But when I came back, now I knew why those little basic things are trying to teach you, because when you try to apply it in the real world situation, it is applicable. You get to use some of those things to apply towards your situation. On the PMBA, it's all about networking. So I'm sitting amongst 12 talented, graduated, undergraduate individuals that's been in the industry for more than a decade. So now when we sit together to resolve our class projects, I have 12 different seasoned minds that we share together to resolve class projects. And everybody, believe me, everybody has their own different opinions and thoughts. But just like what you're doing right now in your own situation, it may be the same like 10 years ago. I mean, in my time, many years back, is when you probably have your small groups of good friends that you work together to get ready for your exam or to solve your class projects for that week. You get together and 3 or 4 of you guys would try to resolve that issue. Well, imagine doing it with seasoned guys that understood the world situation, or at least regional economy here. That's what I love. And then at the end of the day, we finally graduated. We decided to keep in touch and share each other's strengths and weaknesses and how we can resolve issues. From that point, my career had changed from Western Union, so that's where I became a housing developer to develop affordable housing for certain targeted audience for Guam's families. And today, and I'm telling you that PMBA degree and the undergraduate degree with finance gave that extra leverage when I applied for these financial programs, i.e. let it be to the banking industry or let it be to the federal programs. To the banking industry, I was fortunate that through my networking, through my PMBA classes, I had bankers in my class. So as we grew and became alumni members and good friends, we leveraged each other's friendship. And when we applied for the loan, that doesn't mean they're going to give you the loan, but when you apply for the loan, they give you that extra special attention, that because they know our character, they know our style of how we want to resolve things. And I was given the opportunity to get loans from some of the banking institutions and to get a federal programs that was available for around 20-some years ago, but we're able to leverage it here. So basically, the key to what I'm trying to say is the key to where you're at today is a lot of you have, I'm not sure, is this a junior or senior class here? Mix. So you guys already have chosen your degrees. So the key is at this point of your early stage of your educational career, this is where probably, I'm assuming if it's still the same then or today, is probably your professor is going to be asking you guys to go out for public projects, either internship or to go out and participate on a conference to help out different groups to facilitate their conferences. I urge you to do that because those are the tools that we used when we were going to school, even through the PMBA. We were going through many of these conferences locally, and that's where we're networking with, and I always use the word networking because networking is a very key component to expanding your knowledge, your base, and your relationship through the community in regards to your profession. So, take advantage of those. If your professor asks you that there's a Saturday project or a Friday evening project at one of these auditoriums, there's going to be a guest speaker. Because it may be a speaker that will speak for 2 hours, certain different topics. But maybe in this 10 minutes of a certain topic is going to open up your mind, so that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking at, at least open up my mind to a broader perspective on this theory. And that can open up your minds for your endeavors for your educational career. So today now, I took all my degrees and everything, and I guess, of course, in your resume, it makes your resume look good because now you have all these years of experience that I had in many years. I have my undergraduate degree with finance and economics, and also my PMBA, which I just got back to back. So what happens when we normally send for federal programs or financial packaging for our loans and our project, it gives us some kind of very high-profile qualifications. It helps you in this sense of getting that extra. You see, in financing, they call it the 5 C's: credit,